Oh, hello. My name is Noah-ish. I'm an illustrator, and I did it. I closed up the terraforming. It's so nice not having to see a gigantic unfinished hole in the back. To help out with the shape of the slopes, I did a quick drawing for this one. There's a lot of moss on the slope. When you're looking at it from the side, it kind of breaks up all the dirt texture that you'll see otherwise, but I didn't want to overdo it. So I just have these streaks of moss and topped it off with a lot of short grass. We have some flowers. Candles are flowers. And under some of the leaves, there's magenta glazed terracotta. That way you can see the color through the leaves just a tiny bit. And of course, as you saw in the time lapse, the other terraforming that I finished. I started to do a drawing for this one too, but I gave up on it pretty early on and just decided to wing it. I also fixed up this part of the terraforming. It's been a little while since I built it, so it was looking a bit rough around the edges. The same goes for this pillar and this one. You probably can't tell the difference. I just cleaned up and refined the angles. I did get a lot done, but full disclosure, if you fly down here, this part is still not 100% done. But I mean, at least it's covered, right? I just think in the future I'm gonna do something here, which might end up changing this area, so I didn't want to finish it. Continuing on with our terraforming journey, next on the list, this part right here. I always imagined this to be more open, so you can see this wheat field through it. It's been on my mind for so long that you can actually see it in some of my older drawings. First step, let's clear this out so we know what we're working with. It feels a bit strange not having anything here. And as expected, we're gonna have to bring out the land. So this opening, let's make a drawing to figure it out. We're starting off on top of a screenshot to get everything in the right spot. At first I contemplated sticking with the archway that I had in my old drawings, but I decided that I wanted to do some floating rocks instead, and they can be placed on a bit of a curve, almost like they were an archway at some point, but it got shattered in the catastrophe that caused everything to start floating, which is the lore of this world. There's also the little things we need to do, like connecting up the paths, and building up the rest of the retaining wall on the right. We can also bring forward the wheat field a bit, and of course we need to make sure that it's expanded enough that it goes towards the horizon. Just the wheat field forever and ever. Alright, let's get to work. So we have a lot of rocks that we need to figure out the placements for. And what better way to do that than to detach my face and plan it out from above. On the ground we have this big rock with a chunk missing out of it. And that chunk is floating in the air, kind of offset. We're gonna fix up this cliff face and have two little floating rocks. Let's grab a bunch of rock and just start placing. Okay, so we finished this big rock on the ground, took a huge chunk out of it, and we will pillar up so we can start making the floating rock. So I finished the rocks, but kind of unsure about the shape of it. Something about having this oval shape right next to a tall rectangular shape is bothering me a bit. And also the distance between the two shapes is awkward. I can't really explain why I feel this way, but it just feels off. So we're gonna tear this out and try again. Okay, new plan. Instead of having that awkward gap between the two shapes, I'm thinking there can be a bit of an overlap with the floating rock and the rectangular pillar. So let's try this out. And this did not go smoothly. Then I thought, why not have it as separate pieces, almost as if it split apart in the air? I thought it was pretty good, but then I realized that the shape of it was a bit too similar to the arch that's in the background. So with another little redo, I landed on this. That took too long. Is it perfect? No, but I think I got it to a reasonable spot. So we have the big rock that's been split up into two parts, It's looking pretty decent all the way around as well. That was another thing that was causing some of the issues, trying to get all the little pieces to look good and balanced. We can now start thinking about the different blocks that we can use to make this more interesting, and also about lighting. Like, for example, this rock is casting a pretty big shadow at the moment. If we get rid of the torches, it gets really dark. So I'm thinking that if we go all the way to the top and punch a hole through it, it'll let down the light. And if we use leaves to block up the hole, it doesn't let down as much light as I thought it would. How about walls? Then looking at it from the bottom, it's not too visible. Yeah, it works. Let's do this a couple more times. I'm gonna have to fiddle around with it a bit, but it's looking a lot better. And now we just need to start texturing the rock. So at the bottommost, it'll be the darkest, so we will use stuff like deep slate, a bit of basalt, and just kind of go from there. And some leaves to make it look overgrown. I'm thinking about what would happen in a real-world scenario. There would be rain and wind, and over time the soil from the top will slowly start coming down and settle on the lower areas, maybe in this kind of pattern. So with that in mind, we're gonna put in some grass and some dirt. I think it would be pretty cool to have vines hanging from the top, though the problem is that they tend to go wild if you just let them. So we need string to stop them from growing, because for some reason you still can't snip these vines like the other ones. But in the new update they changed the texture of string so it's more visible, which doesn't look great. Technically you could use a tripwire hook to make the string more invisible, but is it worth the hassle? Maybe we can just use pale hanging moss? Yeah, I think I'm gonna take out the vines. Hey, hi, it's me, from the future. I completely forgot about glowberry vines. Don't worry, I put them in. Okay, back to the present. I went and finished more of the texturing, though I haven't done these yet. I figured I should do this side first. It's just a slab of rock at the moment. On this side, we're gonna do a more typical cliff wall. I want there to be a bit of a jagged crack here, where the water will pool and cause some greenery, and maybe a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. I was in a bit of a groove, so I finished the trees as well. Looking good, looking good. I like how it turned out. A lot of the trees in this area are kind of leaning more towards oak or elm, so this tree always felt like the odd one out. I'm gonna say it's like a birch or an aspen tree. I always wanted to go and put more of these in. Diversify the species list a bit. Though, I just realized something. Just a sec. Whoop. I should have used walls here. And here it is from the ground. Oh, wait. This looks weird from the bottom. I like using walls, but I think I did too many here. Just change it up with some stairs. Sure. I also extended the retaining wall. We do still need some sort of building in front of the mine entrance, but I'll figure that out later. So what's next? I guess we can clean up the paths a bit, and we should go and connect this up again to the other path. We are gonna need a lot of packed mud for this, which works out because we also need a lot of seeds to expand the wheat field. Before, I used to mix in granite and rooted dirt and stuff like that, but I'm kinda liking the simple packed mud and mushroom stem combo. Path is connected again. In the drawing, the wheat field comes all the way out here. Gonna have to get rid of this little detail though. Some water. Bloop. And it's raining. Actually, this might be a good time to go and collect some firefly bushes and dry grass. We're gonna need a lot of those. I don't usually show myself gathering materials, but this is where I get my plants. Yep, just manually collecting these. At least the rain sounds are nice. Okay, I got a stack of each, and the rain has stopped. Let's get back to planting. Bah. So technically you can grow wheat on just dry farmland, but I have spots hydrated because I want to plant the dry grass and the firefly bushes. But once you do, the farmland turns back to dirt, which makes it a spawnable block for mobs. And that's not really an issue further out. But along this path, I want it to be pretty spawn-proof. While we wait for this to grow, let's start planning out the expansion of the wheat field. First, I want to round out the shape of the land, expand it into the ocean. In the future, I want to divert this river so we have more room. And eventually we're gonna build up this town. There's the pre-existing path that goes this way, some bridges, and we have the small house. I'm thinking there could be another slightly bigger one around here, and the path can fork and lead up to it. And then we need to plant a lot of wheat. Yep, that was a bunch of dirt. But look, it's so nice to have such an open field. We have been terraforming a lot recently. So for a little change of pace, why don't we make that larger farmhouse? We're gonna keep an architectural theme of this area and keep the shape of the house pretty simple. Pretty much just a rectangle with a roof on top. The color theme is also gonna be similar to the other house that we did, which is sandstone for the walls, with granite and terracotta for the roof. And I'm gonna try to situate it right under the tree branch. I always love the look of a house in the middle of a golden wheat field with a clear blue sky. One thing I want to do here is bring in a villager or two and make it so that they can roam around in part of the field, which means we're gonna have to figure out a way to block them into a space. But I think it'll be worth it. Adding movement into a build really adds life to it. Alright, I have a bunch of netherrack, and as I usually do, we are gonna make a wireframe structure first. This should be at a diagonal, I think, which took a little while, especially because I had to take into consideration the door and the windows. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Maybe a bit more rectangular? Yeah, that works. Now the roof. I think we can keep it pretty simple and just step it up for each block. That wasn't too bad. But the worst part is trying to figure out how to get from here to there. Might be smart to do it on the ground first. I think I got it. Never mind, I don't got it. Okay, now I got it. It's looking pretty good. So let's start filling it in with the proper blocks. It's decision time. At this moment, I'm using these sandstone walls, so it helps making it less jagged and smooths out the angle. But I've been thinking, can we replace it with glass? Different color? I'm gonna go with no. I did the same thing with the roof. You can see the differences here. This is the one with the walls, and this side is without walls. It's looking a bit more jagged with all the shadows. But what if we replace these ones with glass? Let's try out different colors. I see. Interesting. It's actually defining the shadows a lot more. Well, I think it's decided I'm sticking with walls for this. To counteract all the granite walls, let's change up more of these blocks to other ones. Exterior is pretty much done, so why don't we step on inside? I want to make an interior wall, and I'm thinking some sort of white block. Pale oak planks, maybe? Ooh, bone block. That looks pretty good. Wool? Not really. Calcite? Don't have a lot of these. And quartz. Surprisingly pinkish. Okay, decided. We are going with the bone block. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of bone meal, but we do have a bunch of pumpkins and melons. Here's the entrance. And I have these trapdoors here so that the villagers won't be able to get out. A nice little sitting room with a grandfather clock. And through here is the kitchen and dining. Through this door is a bedroom. This one's gonna be for the farmer that works in the field. They have a nice little desk, and they even have a walk-in closet. I have the trapdoors here again, so ideally the villagers won't be able to get out of this area of the house. Through here is the primary bedroom. I went with a dark, moody wallpaper, and it even has a fireplace and a place to sit. This is the bathroom, super simple, another little bedroom, and at the end of the hallway we have a study. And in the closet, we have some ladders up into the attic. And through the kitchen and into this extra room, it's pretty much a storage for farming stuff, which leads us to the outside, which needs a lot of wheat. We gotta get this ready and safe for villagers. I'm just drawing out the plots of the wheat field. And this one right here is gonna be the one that the villagers have free roam in. I'm gonna need to fence in the area so that they can't get out. Alright, lines are in. And we need the fences to keep the villagers in. I'm hoping to mix in some leaves with the fences. But this might be kind of awkward to figure out a way so that the villagers can't jump out. Not the most elegant solution, but I'm just gonna fence it all in. This one right here can have some gaps. It doesn't really matter if the villagers can cross this. It doesn't look too bad actually, and the villagers shouldn't be able to get out. Knock on wood. Let's start planting. Oh wait, right. I'm gonna want to hydrate all of this. Sprinkle in some dry grass and firefly bushes. It's so pretty at nighttime. Let's start filling in this wheat field as well. And we are all out of seeds. While we wait for this field to grow so that we can harvest it, why don't we start bringing in the villagers to the village? Hello. Please get in the boat. Let's bring 2. Whoop. Are we dangling? We are dangling. All right, off we go. Whee! I almost got it. All right, so I think it's time to release them into the wild. Wait, no. Don't leave, don't leave. I need to give them seeds. Boat. Get in the boat. All right. Let's collect some seeds to give them. I'm gonna get rid of this dry grass and the firefly bushes. In the future, I might come and harvest this field, so it'll be a lot easier if these are gone. And I wasn't planning on it, but I'm gonna put in a wall of leaves here. The villagers shouldn't pathfind down onto the water, but you never know with villagers. Alright, here are your seeds. Okay, let's release them. Oh, you went for this one, huh? Well, let's get rid of that. You need to work in the fields. Wait, carrots? You should only have seeds, what's going on? Oh, I just realized what happened. They already have carrots on them, because that's what I use to breed villagers. Oh no. I spent way too much time making this rudimentary breeder, but we have new babies. And now all they should have are seeds. I hope. Now what should we do with these 2? Alright, let's be nice. I'm gonna put them in the rooms upstairs. I needed more villagers to trade for golden carrots anyway, so this works out. You 2 are now free to roam. Please farm. That's not good. Oh, phew. Crisis averted. I guess we can't have these. Also, why aren't you sleeping? Oh, yep. That's my fault. Sleep now? Duh, the beds. Alright. Go to bed, please. And why aren't you asleep? Oh, yep. Sorry. That's on me again. Golem? Somewhere? Oh, there's a baby. Oh, he's in the attic. Let's just leave that for now. And this baby, I'll keep him and just make him another farmer. Were you just trading? You better not have carrots in your pocket. I didn't want to do this, but we're gonna need an iron door here. So we have our villagers farming wheat for us, but at this moment, the wheat is just dropping on the ground and despawning. So in order to fix this problem, we are going to the desert. Ooh, I got the disc from the ghast. In this box, we have a laze. I've been meaning to bring these guys home for so long. You're coming with me, let's go. It works! We just have a note block that's constantly going, and the allays will be attracted to it, so they'll pick up the wheat and come drop it on these hoppers that are under the carpets. I also have a little mini block on top of this note block so that it doesn't make the noise, and it's just going underground into the small little cellar that I made. I also may have swapped the villagers with new ones. We have 4 now. I even made a really quick breeder back at the village. The original ones were able to reach their composters, so they were making bone meal with the seeds and wheat, which means that it was freeing up their pockets and they started picking up the wheat. Now we have trapdoors all around the composters, so they shouldn't be able to reach. It's been running for a while and it hasn't broken yet, and the lays have been keeping up, so I don't think we need to do anything else. I had to rearrange this room though so it can fit 4 beds. Let's not talk about how long it took for the villagers to find and sleep in these beds. The upstairs guys are also doing good. The baby grew up and is a farmer now. Also, attic golem, still going strong. And look, the wheat field is done, with the dry grass and firefly bushes sprinkled in. And if we're really quiet, do you hear that? That really subtle rustling? Underground, I planted a bunch of dry grass and dead bushes on top of sand, and that creates these ambient noises. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, so I'm glad that I finally got around to it. Well, we did a lot this episode. A lot more than I was planning. All the terraforming, even more terraforming. Whee! Whoop! And of course, we now have this nice view of the golden wheat field. It's so nice walking along this path. I think it's important to make sure that things still look good on ground level, even though we did get these wings last episode and we can just fly. And the view of this house under the tree is also pretty special. Ooh, imagine having the town far off in the distance. Oh, I can't wait. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.